So, it has been a while. Okay, so it's been 2.5 months since we were supposed to review Memento, and I lost track of time. Was really busy, but I'm now moved into my new apartment. Yay! I now live in Vermont, and I'm going to school. I started school. It was pretty cool. So hopefully now I can get back into some reviewing. Now that I'm getting my life all organized, I have a job now too, so it makes things a little bit harder. But trying to get the ball back rolling to see maybe if we can keep this going. But anyways, here's my review on Memento. Oh, I had to change rooms. I have two other roommates, and they are wonderful in their own ways, but I needed a little bit of privacy and a little bit of a quiet space. So this is my room. This is like the corner of my room. So here's how Netflix describes Memento. Suffering short-term memory loss after a head injury, Leonard Shelby embarks on a grim quest to find out who murdered his wife. Shelby snaps Polaroids of people and places, jotting down contextual notes on the backs of the photos to aid in his search. Memento is a really complex movie. Let's just put it that way. Very complex, very tedious. You have to be really paying attention to really understand the plot. In fact, I watched this movie 3 times. The third time I watched it, like just a few minutes ago, I kind of picked out this other little detail that I didn't really pick up on before. So I'm starting to think that watching it 3 times really was good for me because I'm starting to get a better understanding of the movie. The movie is done in a very interesting way. I'd say it's weird. It's something that we're not used to. I mean, usually when we tell a story, we watch a movie, we expect that we're watching from beginning to the end. You know, here and there, maybe a flashback. But this movie is set up completely differently. This movie, you start at the ending, you see a little snippet to the ending, and then you go back and you watch a little bit more, and you go back and you watch a little bit more, until finally you've seen the entire story from the end to the beginning. To tell you the truth, the way they set the story up is what actually makes it super interesting. Because if they started from point A and went to point B, it'd be kind of like your typical movie. So, I really like that about this movie. It's tricky to convey to an audience what it feels like to have short-term memory loss, to not be able to make short-term memories. So the biggest, or the hardest thing really for this movie is the fact that this guy essentially doesn't have any short-term memories, doesn't remember where he is, what he's doing. So he has to keep these notes. And the biggest mystery, the only one that's really complicated or really you have to kind of let slide, is the fact that how would he know that he makes notes? Like, they kind of do a good job with the whole, like, tattoos on his body, and, like, him, like, looking down and being like, what is this? But still, like, every once in a while, he'll know that he has pictures in his pocket, and he'll pull them out, and he'll, like, be like, oh, this is my car. Or, oh, I'm staying at this hotel. So, they didn't really think about that one very well. This movie doesn't have a lot of stunts. Pretty basic. But like I said, what really keeps you intrigued is the fact that you have no idea what's going on and is told from a completely different point of view. Or way. Told in a completely different way. They did this really cool kind of stylistic thing where every time he was having a flashback, and it wasn't really a flashback, it was more like, well, technically it was a flashback, but every time it went back to this sort of like other storyline, but it's not really another storyline, it's just something that complicates the plot even more. They did it in black and white. Whenever he was talking about Sammy Jenkins, it was in black and white. And then the last black and white scene is really weird because it's a black and white scene, and then somewhere in the middle of it, I think it's like right after he kills the guy, it like turns into a regular like color scene. And from there, like that point right there, we really learn like what happened. Like, why is he doing all this? And we learn more about one of the other characters. And then, like, at the end of that scene, that's when the movie ends. So, it's kind of a mystery in itself that you really have to figure out this puzzle. And it's kind of difficult at first. But after 3 times of watching it, I think I've finally got it all figured out. But I'd be interested to have a discussion with people who have watched this movie to see what your take on the movie is compared to my understanding of what happened. So, I'm going to rate this movie with, I'm going to say 4 stars. 4 stars because it's really interesting. It's something I haven't exactly seen before. It's nothing that I would have even thought to think of. And the way that they portray this movie, like the way that they go about telling the story, is completely different. And they get props for doing something so out of the ordinary and making it work, I guess, kind of. So, that's Memento. That's my feelings on Memento, and I hope I get a response soon about your thoughts on it. But until then, I'm off to review another movie. Bye!